Hello, my absolutely beautiful Taurus friends, and welcome to your horoscope for May of 2023. And happy birthday to you. This is, we had the April half of the Taurus crew, but we got to celebrate the May half of the Taurus crew. So happy birthday, Taurus. Hopefully you've gotten your things together to get ready for your annual burst of energy, the reset to your new year. This is your personal new year for your sun. So happy birthday. Can't wait to see what you're going to be unfolding. Now, this month, May is a beautiful month. It is a busy month. We are back and continuing through eclipse territory. Mercury is coming out of retrograde in your sign this month. And as we close out the end of the month, we've also got a new moon happening in your sign. So there is a lot going on in your me and we, so your relationship dynamics this month, Taurus, okay? And we're going to talk about all of that. Before we jump in, remember you've still got your last moments, if you're watching this before May, to get the Astrology 101 and 102 digital courses that are self-paced for sale, $25 in the description box down below. As well, you've got your last opportunity to get your packages, which is a set of 4 30-minute sessions with me before prices do go up. All right, Taurus, let's get in here and talk about what is going on for you this month. So first of all, as we're coming into this month on the 1st, we've got Pluto stepping into retrograde. Now, Pluto's been a big change in the dynamic energy, right? It has brought a real kind of piece of awakening to a change, an empowerment, an adjustment that is coming to your 10th house. So your career, your title, your soul level calling. What do we call you in public, Taurus? You've had an adjustment since Pluto moved into the energy of Aquarius in March. So I want you to be taking note. What was happening for you? March all the way until now. What's been going on in this Plutonian vibration for you? Now, we're not going to fully work that thing out until we get to 2024, but the changes, the implications to change have definitely been set here. Now, as Pluto goes retrograde, it's going to retrograde at that 0 degrees of Aquarius, and it's going to back up all the way to 27 degrees of Capricorn. So it's again this signature that in the retrograde, right, you are going back over last vestiges, last little pieces of also what needs to be ended for you in that Capricorn vibration, right? What needs to be happening around teaching, travel, education, any of those big things. And you've been making changes in those since 2008. So this is just that last little bit that is helping you finish it out. And remember, when Pluto is retrograde, first of all, when Pluto came into Aquarius in March, maybe everything about your career didn't feel clear, or maybe even things that were going on felt heavy. Your relationships could have felt a little bit heavier. And as Pluto retrogrades, it gives you a chance to go over, why was that so heavy for me? Why do I need to change? Because when you kind of can understand the why, the willingness to do the work of the changing or the shedding or the stepping into your power becomes a bit more abundance. Pluto in the 10th house can certainly be an indicator as a rise to influence or a rise to power. So understand why you're experiencing what you're experiencing so you can understand how to bring it up and out, okay? On the 5th, we are going to have a full moon lunar eclipse happening at 14 degrees of Scorpio, so right across the street from you. This is again lighting up those relationship dynamics. Remember, the sun, Mercury, Uranus, the North Node, Venus at this point, everybody and their sister is over in your sign. So you've got a packed house of energy looking at this eclipse that's happening in Scorpio, your relationship zone. Now, the full moon is telling us that something here needs to be ended, acknowledged, or adjusted. But we've been working on this, Taurus. You know what's happening in your relationships, whether you've been ignoring it, not had the resources to handle, whatever it is. This full moon is bringing exposure and illumination so that you can make the adjustments, especially over this next 6 months, to what needs to be happening in your relationship zone. Now, this is not just romantic relationships. It's conscious, chosen one-on-one relationships. You and whatever you call a higher power. You and how you talk to and treat yourself. Business partnerships, legal relationships maybe that you've had in any capacity, whether that's a marriage, a citizenship, a business partnership, right? So these are the places that you're being called back into now, and it is like, Okay, I need to transform this area. I need to participate in the shedding and the transformation of this area, okay? Okay, when we get to the 7th, and Venus is not in Taurus anymore, Venus is in Gemini, because when we get to the 7th, we're gonna see Venus move into the energy of Cancer. Okay, now Venus coming here into the energy of Cancer. Mars is up here as well. This is lighting up your 3rd house space. So first of all, Mars being here has brought action to your 3rd house. You're talking, you're entering into contracts, you're studying something, you're learning in some way. There's an informational exchange that's really been going on. Now Venus is going to help to smooth the process of all of that, right? Venus in Cancer brings a diplomatic energy and ease, a warmth. You know, if you needed to collect money, if you needed to spend money on something in this particular area, or you're planning a trip, Venus is going to help facilitate this with a little bit more ease. Now, I would still caution you that until we get to the 14th, Mercury is not out of retrograde. So if you're starting or signing a brand new big contract, I would really look over the fine print of that 110,000%. But if you're finishing a contract, if you're finishing an appointment, if you're finishing a course or something like that, I think you're pretty safe to work with that because Venus and Mars are not retrograde. But I just want you to make sure that your mind is at the same place with all of the other decisions that your hands might be making, okay? That said, on the 14th, we see Mercury coming out of retrograde in the energy of Taurus. So right here in your 1st house, it's coming out at 5 degrees. Now, while Mercury is out of retrograde at this time, remember, I work with the full retrograde cycle. So we've seen Mercury come into pre-retrograde shadow April 7th. Okay, it came in April 7th at 5 degrees of Taurus. So what started coming up for you? What came in your bubble? What came up about you to you? What was happening in relationships? Then we saw on April 21st that Mercury took its retrograde at 15 degrees of Taurus. Now it's out of retrograde at 5 degrees of Taurus, and we will see it start to move forward, fully releasing this set of lessons May 31st when it gets back to 15 degrees of Taurus. So what has happened for you? You know, what have you been looking at? What have you been going over where you're like, I've kind of been a little off here, or I didn't really understand why I behaved that way, or you know, have you made some different decisions about your physical body? Have you made some different decisions, or you're ready to sign contracts about your physical external environment? What is it about you that is having a glow up and a come out at this time, and you're prepared to make those decisions? They'll be cemented in when we get to May 31st, okay? As we get to the 16th, we see Jupiter moving into the energy of Taurus. It's back. It hasn't been here for 12 years. So your first cue to pattern back is to go back 12 years. What was going on for you 12 years ago? Where were you expanding in some way? Where did you have benefit showing up in your life, or opportunity showing up in your life? It could have even been a time where the opportunity was for you to expand in some way. And I do think that, first of all, it can be physical expansion. You're an earth sign, right? Like, enough said. And you can just physically expand. But I also think that there is a conception of spiritual or educational expansion, knowledge expansion that comes with this. Now, I know that Jupiter is a benefic planet. It is. Jupiter and Venus, they bring benefit to us. But Jupiter is kind of like, it's kind of like the finance department at work a little bit, right? Like if you've contributed 50% to your 401k, Jupiter will match that, right? It's like that. So whatever you've got going on in your current self, in your current dynamic, in your current direction, Jupiter will match that. It's not going to just come and bring all the blessings. It's not like that. It's not Santa Claus, right? It's not just, you may get coal. If you're doing coal level work, you may get coal. Okay, but whatever it is, Jupiter is going to match and expand what you've already got going. Now, at the same time, it does bring that teaching element in. So if you're headed in a direction, or you don't like this particular area of your world, or you feel like, I don't like my housing, I'm uncomfortable in my body, Jupiter will remind you it's an okay idea to bring in a teacher or someone to guru, to give you the information, to teach you how to expand beyond your horizons in this particular energy, okay? Now, when we get to the 17th, I think it's a really significant day. Been talking with other astrologers, especially mundane astrologers, about the way the world is changing. And we're all pretty much in agreement that when we get to the 17th and Jupiter comes into that square with Pluto that is now retrograde, this is the end, you guys. This is the door on the old world, the old way we were doing things, things that were going to work, behaviors that you had, fears that haven't been dealt with. The door closes and we are solidly in the terrain of the new world, the new ideas, the new habits, the new way things are going to function. So a question for you is going to be, you know, where do you have energy and where do you need to focus yourself in order to come current and really be working kind of in this new world energy? And it's not just about technology. It's not just about, you know, all of these changes we're seeing in our society, although Pluto is our society planet. It's also about you. Where are you clear today that it is like, I can't work with that belief anymore. It is not serving me like that. I cannot keep this fear around anymore. I cannot keep this resentment around anymore. It's not working anymore. And you know that, I think, of this as of this time. And then it's time to start dealing and move forward, okay? On the 19th, we've got a new moon happening in Taurus. So plant your seeds of intention, Taurus. What do you want to bloom over this next year? What do you want to bloom in yourself and allow it to sprout and allow you to show up and show out in the world in a different way and to accept yourself, regard yourself, show up in your relationships, maintaining your own autonomy while also giving love and life to the relationships that are around you? What do you want? Plant those seeds of intention. And we will watch that blossom, especially over this next 4 weeks, okay? On the 20th, we're going to see Mars get out of that Cancerian energy and move into the energy of Leo. Now, Mars is moving in fire, okay? So Mars has got a little bit more whip and zip, which is great because Mars was on hold for 7 months in one space. It's not that it was on hold. It had some very specific work to do for us in that 7 month, and then it needed a bit of a cool off in that Cancerian waters to shed some of that excess heat. And now Mars is clear, focused, confident, ready to move in this Leo energy. And for you, this lights up the 4th house space: home, family, real estate, property. These areas of your life, these things in your life, things with your parents may be changing. Are you buying a house, selling a house? Are you moving? Are you moving things around in your house? Are you moving your house, your physical body? And you're like, listen, I am trying to be a different version of myself. I'm trying to be confident. I'm recognizing my beauty. You know, I'm saying it with my shoulders out and my chest out. Are you putting out products? Are you launching your website? Like, what are you doing that is about celebrating pleasure and the glamour of you moving and taking action in a direction that brings something really fun and really beautiful and really skillful into your life? You'll be able to enjoy that while Mars is traveling through this Leo energy all the way until July. Now, as we get to the 21st, Taurus season is over, and we're going to welcome the sun into the energy of Gemini, which begins your annual light up to your 2nd house, to your finances. Time to ask these financial questions, time to be motivated about this. Now remember, Mars spent 7 months traveling through Gemini, what you want, what you desire, what you're calling into your life, Taurus, around your finances, around your self-worth, around how you make money, and you use your skills to do that, around your possessions. Mars has already primed the pump. Now the sun here is going to illuminate all of that. It's time to have conversations. It's time to do discussions, right? Gemini is also an air sign, so you could be traveling, you could be moving around, you could be doing something like that, and it's requiring a lot of conversation. The intellectual stimulation, you know, you have new language or new vocabulary that is in your life, and this will be an important time to keep in mind how that affects your finances as well. So it is a busy month. We've got stuff going. There are shifts and there are changes that really bring us to another new place. But I want you to keep in mind that a lot of what we're seeing this month, Taurus, is patterning that we've already seen on the table. Now you're just being asked to make some adjustments and make some moves within that. Remember, with the eclipses, you can always pattern back to 2004, what was happening in your life at that time, what was going on in 2014. Pattern back, because you have been in some of these patterns, some of these energetic bubbles before. Now you can see just how to work with them where you are presently, okay? And keep in mind keep in mind, friends, that the Mercury retrograde is really not done until May 31st. All right, my beautiful friends, I love you a ton. Have a gorgeous rest of your birthday. Have a gorgeous rest of the month. I look forward to seeing you in June. And if this video was at all helpful, please help a sister with the algorithm and push like on the video. And if you're new, I would love for you to subscribe and stay here and learn astro things with us all year long. Bye, friends.